Okay, starting off with the damage, the 458 SOCOM is going to do 72 to the head, 48 to the chest, stomach, and extremities. There is no multiplier, but it is a significant amount of damage. After the drop off at 35 meters, it's going to do 61 to the head and 41 to the chest, stomach, and extremities, which is still a significant time to kill. It has a maximum or minimum time to kill of four shots and a maximum of 7 shots. That means that you're not going to really need too much of a range modifier. Even at its furthest range with minimum range modifiers, it's still going to have a 7 shot to kill, which is extremely fast. The fire rate after the SOCOM is going to drop down to 590, almost 600 rounds per minute. But it also boosts the bullet velocity by a huge amount. It goes all the way to 835 without any bullet velocity modifiers. Of course, though, the mags get reduced down to 10. It is, to a large point, an issue, and the reason why it hasn't become meta, but there are multiple ways to handle it, and that becomes how you develop the gun and what you intend to make the gun into. The recoil does increase. It is, to a large point, visual. I do want to look at that right now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the recoil. I'm spraying some targets right here for us to look at. One thing to note is that the 458 SOCOM, it doesn't get to any of the diagonal portions, so you don't have to compensate side to side. I'm not going to mount. I'm just going to be right here. It has a lot of visual kick, but as you can see, it's almost completely vertical. That bullet does look like it's a little bit to the side, but this is with no attachments to help with recoil compensation. Now I do want to show the longest barrel, because the longest barrel is going to be what a lot of people use. This is going to be the maximum that you can get compensation from a barrel. Again, you're going to see that it's almost completely vertical. You see a little bit of this side-to-side bounce. For the most part, it's pretty straight up and down. This is going to be the rubberized grip tape. The rubberized grip tape is going to be the same amount of compensation that you would get from the longest barrel. It's going to be about 4% according to True Game Data. That's the rubberized grip tape right there. A little bit side to side. For the most part, it's completely straight up. The biggest compensation, the most common attachment that people are going to be using to help with recoil are going to be the foregrips. This one is going to be the Commando foregrip. Commando foregrip helps a little bit more with side-to-side bounce. It looks almost completely the same as the other ones. Then the other one is going to be Ranger foregrip. Ranger and Commando help with aiming stability, which does take effect while you're shooting. That's why both of them are going to help a little bit more than some of these other things, because they actually do help with aiming stability. It also helps with recoil control. This one is going to have a little bit more side-to-side bounce. Because it's so compressed, you're not going to be able to tell as much as this one. Whenever you hold it into the same spot on both, you'll notice that the Commando does help a little bit more with side-to-side bounce, but for the most part, many of these are going to look identical. One thing that I do want to show, however, is the muzzle brake and the compensator. The main problem that the SOCOM is going to have is going to be side-to-side bounce. Let me show you another one right here with the muzzle brake and with the compensator. I believe the first one is going to be the muzzle brake, and this is going to help with that side-to-side bounce. It doesn't appear to help too much. I'm going to try one more. Okay, here we go. This is a better example. It's going to line up very, very much vertically. It's not going to have too much side-to-side bounce like you'll see on this one. It is going to be the main attachment that you can use to get rid of the side-to-side bounce. It helps out considerably. However, it does come at the cost of not being suppressed. This one is going to be the compensator. It has the same penalty. You're not going to be suppressed, but it's going to help like the like the Ranger in that it's gonna reduce how much kick is gonna be on the gun. Can't see from there. Okay. So it's gonna have a lot less magnitude of recoil. Okay, and this would be the smallest pattern that you have. It gets to the top of the blue. This one was around the same. So it is going to be a little bit better, but overall the best one is going to be the muzzle brake. Let me double check. Yeah, the overall one is going to be this one right here with the muzzle brake. It's going to be very, very narrow. It's going to help out the absolute best, but again, it comes with the cost of not being suppressed. Okay, so now I made a build that has minimum aiming stability. I want to show how much of an impact aiming stability has while you're shooting. So let me line up right here. So the thing that most people don't know is that aiming stability takes place even while you're shooting. So it is going to have a little bit of sway. It's going to move a little bit side to side, and that takes place even while you're shooting. So whenever I release the trigger, you're going to see that this doesn't affect any of the recoil control, but you'll see that it continues to follow the path of the recoil as it's going. So a little bit further distance, you see how it moves a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, back to the right, back to the left. I'm expecting it to go to the right, and then we'll see that it actually does in fact go like towards the right a little bit. So it does take effect while you're shooting. Okay, a couple of more things that I want to mention before we finish is that aiming stability can be improved in a couple of other ways. Anytime you mount, it improves the aiming stability of the gun. Whenever you're mounted, it's going to stay the same, which is going to increase your recoil. If you prone, it will increase your aiming stability as well. Sorry, if you're crouched as well as if you're prone. If you're prone, it's going to increase the aiming stability the most. So what that means is if you're in a normal situation where you see you're in a gunfight, you're going to want to engage the gunfight as you typically will. However, if you see somebody running across a field and they don't see you, it will benefit you to be able to crouch first before engaging them. It's going to help you hit a couple more shots, as well as if you have the opportunity to prone, it'll help you even hit more shots. Again, if you're going to take those shots, you drop down first and then fire. However, once you do so, you always got to be careful that you don't get third party by a sniper. Always got to try to keep moving. It'll only be whenever you see somebody crossing through a field and you need to lay down for a little bit more accuracy. Okay, I also want to show what it looks like whenever you tap fire. This is going to be at a moderate rate. Taking a look at it, it's basically in the exact same spot. This is going to be at a little bit closer to the trigger cap. That's me going almost as fast as I can. If you go at the complete trigger cap, it is going to end up being identical to what the original recoil magnitude is going to be. So it's going to be identical to whatever it is without any attachments. Okay, so let's start getting through some of these attachments. These are going to be a lot of my experiences with these attachments. And as far as the data, most of the data is going to be from TrueGameData.com. The muzzle attachments, the ones that are going to be important are going to be the tactical suppressor, the monolithic suppressor, the muzzle brake, and the compensator. The suppressors that are going to be important here are going to be the tactical suppressor and the monolithic suppressor. The lightweight suppressor is overall not worth it. The tactical offers you a 4 millisecond better ADS speed, which is negligible. However, the monolithic suppressor also doesn't really help too much because it gives you a 10% boost to your range, which, because the damage is so high on the range, as well as a 15% boost to your bullet velocity, because the damage is so high, it doesn't really help enough. I think overall the best is going to be just the monolithic suppressor if you're going to do just a suppressor and no barrel. The muzzle brake and the compensator are important because they offer the best reduction to recoil on any kind of attachment on this gun. The compensator gives you a 27% decrease to recoil stabilization. The muzzle brake gives you 20% decrease to your recoil stabilization, whereas the compensator gives you a 27% decrease to the recoil magnitude. Moving on to the barrels, the main barrels that are going to be used are going to be the Grenadier and the Corvus Custom Marksman. Two other interesting ones to note are going to be the Commando as well as the Predator. Mainly the Predator. I'll get to that one in a little bit. The Corvus Custom is going to give you a 30% boost to your range, Grenadier 40%. Like I said, the range doesn't really matter too much because most of the time we're only going to be talking about one bullet. One bullet difference. The damage doesn't really decrease that much on this gun. The main thing that is going to be affected is the aim down sight speed, as well as the bullet velocity and recoil control. Corvus Custom gives you a faster aim down sight speed, faster movement speed, better hip fire accuracy, but you really don't want to be hip firing this. Overall, in terms of the long range aspects, the Grenadier is going to be the best. It's going to give you the best bullet velocity as well as better recoil control. The reason the Commando may possibly be used is if you're using it similar to an AS Val. If you use it such as an AS Val, then it's going to give you a very, very fast time to kill, and it'll be useful up close. The last one, the Predator, is going to be very important because it gives you a suppressor, but as well as aim down sight speed. The bonus to aim down sight speed is not too much significant whenever you can compare it to a Grenadier, but the main benefit is going to be that suppressor. Quickly, it also says that there's a decrease to bullet velocity. Again, it doesn't really matter too much because the velocity of the SOCOM rounds are already so fast. Now, this also conceals your bullet tracers. It doesn't mention it. It also doesn't conceal it if you have a tracer pack on the for a bundle, but it will conceal the tracers. It makes it very difficult for somebody to identify where you're shooting them from. If you're going to third party a team, it's going to make it harder for them to if you're fighting a team, it's going to make it harder for somebody to third party you. As far as the lasers, the only one that's going to be useful is going to be the TAC laser. It gives you the aiming stability, which is going to help with recoil control, faster aim down sight speed, and that would be the main benefit to it. But the TAC laser would be the only one that you would use in that situation. Okay, so I'm going to start going into some of these sets. This is what we're talking about right here. Let's go into the Gunsmith, the 458 SOCOM magazine, obviously 10 rounds to each clip. Generally, there's three ways that you're going to want to play this. The first is going to be just to use strong positions, power positions, use high ground, use distance, and just use it at range so that you don't get penalized by using the 10 round mag. Another thing that you can do is to use a sleight of hand or to use amped. In this particular loadout, we're running amped. One of the reasons why I like the SOCOM is because it's gonna be able to be pretty flexible. That'll allow me to pick up restock whenever I pick up this gun. I don't have to worry about having a long range gun as well as a short range gun. Restock is the number 1, number 2 perk in the game, close to High Alert. High Alert has the highest KD, even though Ghost is the most common. Restock is going to help you win a lot of those situations. Gas grenades as well as stun grenades are going to help to slow down the target, make it a lot easier to make contact. You can put on thermites, mollies, semtexes to help finish kills if they're behind cover. But those are the three main ways that you're going to play it. Getting into some of the classes though, this is going to be 300 with HP. A Grenadier, Commando, and Monolithic. With these attachments in particular, the longest barrel, longest suppressor, you're going to have the best bullet velocity possible for an AR in the game. It may even be the best bullet velocity of any weapon in the game. It's upwards somewhere around 1,300 meters per second. This one's built just like you would normally build a long-range AR. You can look at videos like Captain Clutch, who does a lot of good SOCOM videos, where he does a lot of good high kill gameplays in general and uses the SOCOM from time to time. The optic is going to be one of your choice. The VLK is the one that's most used by the PC players, excuse me. And then for the fifth and final attachment, of course, is the 458 SOCOM. Now the Commando foregrip is going to give you more, like, it's going to eliminate some of the bounce, eliminate some of the visual recoil. However, you do have the possibility of also using a range. On this one here is going to be without the barrel. Instead of the barrel, it's the M16 stock. The side-to-side bounce doesn't the side-to-side sway doesn't just apply to before you start shooting. It also applies to during the shooting process. So the M16 stock is going to help with a lot of that side-to-side. You can go ahead and run these up against a wall and shoot about 1,000 rounds and try to see what you think is the best. I've shot quite a bit. To me, a lot of these are going to be very similar. The reason why there's no barrel in this case is because we're trading off one form of recoil control, that is stabilization, recoil control for aiming stability. It ends up becoming preference, but you don't need the extra range because it does so much damage in general. In this particular case, we're putting on sleight of hand, and this is going to act as as one of the three options for playing the 458 SOCOM. This is going to be with sleight of hand. So if you miss a shot, then you can quickly reload and fire again. One of the first games that I've ever won with this gun was with using sleight of hand. So getting on to and then also there's three main iron sights that you can use on an M4. They're going to be preferences. Just change the blueprint to whichever one you prefer. There isn't really a preferred one. Just try to avoid the big, the clunkier ones. Let me see if I have an example. This would be one that is a little bit. Just try to avoid the ones that are a little bit clunkier. But going on to the next one, this one is going to be with the barrel. It's going to be the Corvus barrel, so it's not going to give you as much penalty in terms of movement, but it is going to give you a little bit of control. The foregrip is going to be a Ranger foregrip, and it does minimize the magnitude of the recoil, not just vertical, but also side to side. What causes this gun to be difficult to control is not necessarily the side to side recoil, but the side-to-side bounce, the unstabilization. However, if you fire a lot into the wall, you'll see that the Ranger foregrip is still very competitive. I'm running just a different optic. The optics, the best one for the 3x optics are going to be the T-pose. I personally prefer the Chevron. That's really the only ones that are going to be here that are going to be pretty good. Maybe the Green Cross, but they do offer a little bit of recoil control if you choose to use those. Again, I'm running restock, and instead of amped or a different third perk, I'm using spotter. Spotter works in combination with sleight of hand, because if you have sleight of hand, you're not tied to amped as much as you normally would, so you can use something a little bit differently. Going on to the next one, this is without an optic. So if you take out the optic, you have a few more options. I have the M16 stock, again helping with aiming stability, sleight of hand, which means that I'm not necessarily tied to amped. And then now you can put on a Commando foregrip, Ranger foregrip, or whichever barrel that you prefer. Even a tack laser if you think you need a little bit more aiming stability. But the suppressor also doesn't have to be the monolithic. You can put on lightweight or tactical suppressor, because again, the range is already going to be very good on this gun. Going to the next one, one of the advantages of having a Modern Warfare gun is that you can attach an underbarrel. Underbarrels are extremely useful, but not extremely used. They did get recently buffed. I think it was a couple of months ago, where the range got buffed on all of the underbarrel ammunition type. This is an example of the underbarrel range buff from the previous season. In addition to that, some of these got buffed as well. The high explosive is generally very bad. If you use it in combination with spotter, you can see if a team has a munitions box or an armor box. You can fire a grenade in there and explode the munitions box and armor box. That can get you free kills. Incinerary has not been buffed, but not too many people running EOD. Smoke grenades, not too many people running thermal, but again, these are going to give you a lot of range, and you can use these in combination with like an optic or something. Recon was buffed. The snapshot that comes out of the recon lasts longer, and it also highlights for your teammates, which will be much more useful. The flash grenade, not buffed. However, if you have multiple grenades, this could be extremely useful for clearing out a building. The stun grenades are going to allow the enemy to stay on target if they're guarding a stairwell or something, whereas the flash is going to make it difficult for them to consistently keep their crosshairs on target. If they're aimed down sight in a doorway, camping a room, a flash grenade, like sending 3 or 4 flash grenades in there while your teammates push, is practically unstoppable. There's nothing they can do about that. Concussion is good. It helps slow down their movement. Shotgun is also very useful. However, I don't find myself relying on the shotgun that often, but I will say this: if you have an underbarrel launcher, it will allow you to pick up launcher ammunition and AR ammunition anytime you go to a munitions box. So that means that if you have a teammate with a launcher, you can pick up extra ammunition for their launcher, or if they have extra ammunition that they're not using, they can spot it for a smoke grenade in a critical situation or snapshot or whatever it is. These also go in combination with sleight of hand. If you have sleight of hand, you can fire out multiple underbarrel launchers. With this, you can attach anything else you want. You can put a barrel or whatever else you want. It's entirely up to you. This one is a more of a maximum recoil control. You can see right away that I'm not running a suppressor. And before you give up on this, I do have a solution, but it has a muzzle that helps with stabilization, which helps a significant amount, about 25%. This helps with recoil control, obviously. And what we're trying to do here is get the maximum amount of recoil control that you can possibly get with these rounds. And these rounds are very deadly. The solution that I have is going to be high alert. If you're running high alert, then what it's going to do is going to attract more people towards your position. However, it's not going to allow them to just third party you. You'll be aware of them, and you'll be able to handle gunfights quickly because these rounds have so much stopping power to them. Going on to the next one, Commando foregrip, another muzzle for recoil control, for stabilization or recoil control. Tac laser is going to help with aim down sight. This is going to be very similar to the previous one. This one, however, has restock clays. Restock clays are going to help you in a very similar way. They're going to allow you to maintain a strong position, have a very strong weapon, but teams won't be able to push you just because they know where you're at. It's going to allow you to be much more defensive, and that takes advantage of the third way of playing it, and using power positions and playing behind cover. Last is going to be more of a sniper support. I know Drifter did a video where he talked about the possibility of this being a way that you can run the SOCOM. If you decide to run SOCOM in this way, what you want to do is limit yourself to just power positions. If you limit yourself to just power positions, then whenever you use this weapon, you're not going to be using it like you typically would. What you're going to be using it to do is to get finishes on kills and kill people in the same distance that you would a DMR would. You'd probably want a longer range sniper to go with it. The reason I have stims is because stims are going to be a tool that you can use if you're in a power position and you're trying to rotate. You need to eat a little bit of gas, rotate to a different power position. But lastly is going to be the way that I run the M4A1 SOCOM. Now, this isn't going to win like some variations in very short ranges, nor in very long ranges. However, this is going to allow you to compete at these different distances. The underbarrel flash is going to allow me to push teams. I can switch that out to a different kind of munition depending on what the team needs. The 4x flip hybrid has, if you go to the alternate ones, these aren't accurate. These are all dot sights now. So even starting with the first one, you don't have to unlock any of the dot sights. You can just immediately flip, and they've been updated to be a lot cleaner. The Predator barrel is going to conceal your tracers. So when they conceal the tracers, teams won't be able to know where you're shooting from. And then of course sleight of hand goes in combination with the under barrel. I run gas grenades because gas grenades are going to help me prevent teams from pushing. If one of my teammates goes down, throwing a gas grenade usually gives me enough time that I can res a teammate without even worrying about the push. And that is all for the M4A1 SOCOMs. Yes, I did earn that, and boy, does that look clean. But the M4A1 SOCOM allows me to regardless of what distance I'm at, to stay competitive and still allow me to get restock clays, restock Semtexes, gas grenades. It really does help the team, and this gun allows me the opportunity to do that. Without these rounds, I would be practically useless at long ranges. I'd lose any gunfight with like a MAC-10, but these rounds have a faster time to kill than the MAC-10, if I'm not mistaken, and a faster time to kill than something like the Krig, the Farah, the Grau. Basically, it allows me to compete at any range that I needed to. And then, of course, the underbarrel in combination with sleight of hand, the flip hybrid, just allow me the flexibility that I want from this gun. Okay, so setting up some of the practices I like to do, the first thing I'm going to do is set up some recruit bots, mainly because I want to practice my aim, not so much my movement right now. I'm also going to go to the damage, and I'm going to put the damage at 1, or I'll put the damage at 300. 300 because I want to practice sustained recoil control. 1 because I want to practice quickly flicking to the targets. I can do a little bit of both right now to practice. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to spawn ammo max, put that at max. So right now I'm practicing at 1 HP. Okay, the way this practice goes is I'm just going to sit on one side, and the way this practice goes is I'm just going to practice on flicking to the target. And the idea from this is that you're able to just practice your aim, not miss so many shots. You only have 10 rounds, so you got to make each one count. Alternatively, you can put it on headshot only. The idea behind this mode is going to be like sustained recoil control. It's just sustained recoil control, and this isn't a recoil build, it's just continued practice. Okay, so now would be a good time for me to show you reload slides. So reload slides are going to be when you jump, reload, and then slide. So here I'm going to jump, reload, and slide. These reload and slide, you're going to basically press at the same time. So the reload slide, you're going to jump and then press reload and slide at the same time. You can even cancel out of that. So you can jump, reload, slide, and then jump, slide, cancel. Okay, so jump, slide, and then cancel again. So it's X, square and circle, circle, X. X, square and circle, circle, X. I'm a half step early. X. So here we go. X, square and circle, circle X. Miss all those shots. So that's going to be almost the end of the video. I threw in some highlights just for good measure, and if you have any questions or like to pick my brain on the M4A1 SOCOM, just let me know in the comments. Thank you.
I had this guy point blank with a fucking MP5 and unloaded a clip and he just ate it.
He's down, he's down, he's down.
I don't even know where he was at. I don't
Prison,
know.
prison, prison, prison,
Oh,
prison.
he's on top of it. He's on
Behind
top.
us?
No, he's got the bio. He's got the bio.
Nobody's
fucking
fucking
there,
anywhere near me.
Right there, yep.
Damn!
Oh, wow.
He's cheating.
Me and the guy with the car traded.
There's literally nobody fucking anywhere
Prison,
near me.
prison, prison, prison,
Oh, he's
prison.
on top of it. He's on
Behind
top.
us?
No, he's got the bio.
Damn!
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna get out.
Right outside, over here.
He just ran inside.
You're not coming back, so play y'all's life. Play y'all's life. You're not coming back. You're not coming back, so play your lives. I think I could buy you. I think I could buy you, homie. I ain't fighting you, homie. I got no shields.
No, it's 2v2 now. You guys said last ones, I pushed in. He's right there on the box.
Right there, right there, right there.
Got him.
What?
Down on my ping. Copy. Did you get him down? Did you get him down? He's down. He's down. Jump, I'll catch you. Jump, I'll catch you. Whoops.
Bro, this kid. Bro, what was this kid? Bro, I had this kid in the